Hello and welcome. I'm Crow of the Safety Pins in A Body at All, and today we're going to be talking about what I personally think is one of the funniest things um, in modern system history regarding popular DID YouTubers, which is pretty niche, but a lot of stuff has happened there, I pinky promise. Today we're here to talk about what I lovingly call the Entropy System debacle. And we're talking about it today because today is February 23rd. That's a surprise tool that will help us later. On October 10th of 2018, the Entropy System, some very popular DID YouTubers, as in one body of several popular DID YouTubers, uploaded a video titled System Pride Day! In this video, they introduced their design of a System Pride flag, which was this right here, as well as the concept of System Pride Day. And the flag was white, orange, and black from top to bottom. The orange is also... This did not go over very well. But, you know, why? Why was it a problem? Well, okay, so the main issue with both the flag and the date that most people took were that they were just really incredibly cosmically bad for ritual abuse survivors who are extremely likely to be systems and disproportionately represented in people with DID. First, there was the more obvious. The day was in October and the flag was deliberately made Halloween colors. That's why their middle stripe was orange. Then, the date also being 10/10 was potentially triggering for many people who had experienced ritual abuse because a lot of organized ritual abuse groups would carry out organized abuse on dates that matched the month. For example, February 2nd, March 3rd, you get the idea. But that's not all, because on top of all of that, the date they chose, October 10th, are you ready for this? You're not ready. It was their birthday. They chose their own birthday for System Pride Day for every single system. Well, okay, it was for systems with DID and OSDD because they're medicalists. We'll get to that. But yeah, so they proposed System Pride Day on their own birthday, and in addition to that, they also, in the video, explicitly said it was a birthday gift to one of their own alters. Can we just process that together? So basically, it was a massive ego trip. And I mean, they sure did their level best to convey it as something that wasn't an ego trip, aside from the part where they said it was their birthday and themed after their favorite holiday and for one of their own alters, and I'm sure it's fine. Anyway, on their Wix site that they set up for System Pride Day, they did try to make it seem like it was for all systems. They talked a lot about DID and OSDD and how they wanted to combat endless misrepresentations in the media. They wanted to show systems that they could be proud, and that they didn't have to hide who they were. But even this website does actually a very bad job of decentering themselves. They say, for example, that they started it because we here in the Entropy System felt this needed to change. I assure you that we in the Entropy System were not the only systems at the time who cared about this and were, you know, working on it. For one, a dissociative disorder Pride Day already existed, and a lot of dissociatives took issue with the fact that they didn't just choose that day or a day close to it. They also end their blurb with, from our perspective, that being becoming multiple as a sign of survival, is something to celebrate. We love each member of our system, and we are proud of how far we've come together. We want other systems to feel this way too. So, you know, I mean, I've introduced pride flags for things before, some of them good, some of them cringe, some of them unimportant, as well as just sort of events. And I can't imagine myself, or frankly many people, I can't imagine myself or any of those people spending almost an entire video talking about ourselves and like a quarter of the explanation talking about ourselves while creating that and how much we want people to feel the way we feel about ourselves. Like, generally, you would just say, we believe systems deserve to feel proud, and not, we want systems to feel proud like us. Some people also took issue with the flag for bad reasons, which the bad reason being claiming that it's a pro-integration flag, which it isn't. It isn't a flag that is meant to symbolize that every single system should achieve full fusion. The main point of contention is the white stripe at the very top, which represents systems that have achieved full fusion. They may not be multiple anymore, but they were at one point, and we still recognize them as part of the community. So, note that this is just, including people who have reached a therapy goal that many people do actually choose. And especially of note is that the orange stripe, the second one, represents systems who are living with functional multiplicity, which means they have either not yet achieved integration or are choosing not to integrate and are still able to work together as a team to live a happy life. So, yeah, that's a fake problem. That's a bad problem. That's a problem that people who just kind of want to be mad have. I guarantee you lots of reasons to be mad about this flag. So, on top of the whole making it Halloween themed problem, which, is triggering for a lot of systems. And listen, I love Halloween. We love Halloween. We decorated our backdrop for Halloween, like, last year, and we haven't taken down any of the decorations. But we also recognize that not every system is a big fan of Halloween, and that Halloween is often a triggering holiday for people who have survived cults of any kind, who have survived ritual abuse cults that focus on satanic themes or, spooky themes that utilize masks, for example, something that is not super rare in ritual abuse, and people who survived Christian cults, which tend to demonize Halloween and treat it as a very, very dangerous day, and, will sometimes punish children either for eating candy on the day or for acting too satanic on the day. Basically, bad time for a lot of systems. Like a really, really, really bad time. Also, just generally, a lot of systems have experience with being stereotyped as monsters, and that's a very common thing in media. So a lot of systems really don't like being attached to a holiday that's all about creepy, scary monsters. Anyway, people didn't like it. Many of them were actually really, really pissed off. So, in response, after feedback, the Entropy System moved the day to be February 23rd. That's today, guys. Unless you're watching this, like, in the next day, or unless I uploaded late, in which case, it was a previous day, guys. On February 23rd of the next year, 2019, they uploaded a video called What is System Pride Day? Question mark, where they explain System Pride Day basically in similar words to the website, talking about how cool and awesome it is. They plugged their flag again. So, it was fine. This video also got way more views than the previous video. I imagine because they stopped plugging the previous video when everyone was like, hey, can you stop? And this is the video that's also linked on their website. Also, they have purple hair in that one, which I think the purple's cool. Oh, and then there's also the fact that the Entropy System compared endogenic systems to, like, literal actual Confederates. Like, to the Confederate flag. Just as a reminder, the Entropy System looks like that. Systems that identify as endogenic are more likely to be people of color than diagnosed systems, because the fact that, like, black people are unlikely to actually get diagnoses of DID or OSDD1, and instead are more likely to get diagnoses of schizophrenia, specifically to demonize them. The fact that a lot of black spiritualities and cultures involve forms of plurality, or what we could call plurality, that is not disordered and is not dissociative. And, of course, the fact that there are many cultures of people of color who are, harmed by white supremacists that also have similar things. In fact, one of the main issues with medicalism, probably one of the biggest, if not the biggest, in my opinion, is the rampant white supremacy of it, the treatment of white psychiatry as, like, a gold standard that all cultures and experiences can and should be held to. That's something that's extremely destructive and that has been weaponized against a lot of colonized people in the past. Yeah, point is, it's a really bad look to compare people who are plural without having or wanting a diagnosis of DID and OSDD, which again is disproportionately underdiagnosed in people of color. To compare them to Confederates as a white person is just vile. It's disgusting. And this also emphasized that the flag and System Pride Day was not for all systems. It was for systems formed by early childhood trauma specifically, not any other kind of trauma, who also had DID or OSDD1. It didn't include anyone who formed it for any other reason, and it didn't include trauma-formed systems who didn't have a dissociative disorder. So while the flag itself, as in the literal stripes of the flag, don't mean anything bad necessarily, the fact that it is deliberately tied to Halloween, something that many people find extremely triggering, and the fact that it is explicitly only for a very specific kind of system, and that the creator compared people who are not that specific kind of system to Confederates, and the whole making the day their own birthday thing. The flag leaves a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth, is what I'm saying. And while I don't think the flag needs to be retired for personal use, because I mean, like, I do like the colors. I have a calico cat, and I like to say she's System Pride colored. Her name is Kinley. She's perfect. I do think it should definitely be retired as a symbol we use to refer to the entire community, given the everything about it. The all of it, honestly. But Crow, I hear you cry. What flag do you personally like the best and want us to use and also like? Well, I'm glad you asked. My favorite flag, personally, is made by the same anonymous system or systems that designed the treble sand. This little guy. It's one of the most popular symbols of plurality, aside from the plural rings, which are what's painted behind us. This anonymous system went by, well, treble sand. So, that makes it simple. They designed something called the Plural Journey flag, which is right up here. There's also a couple simplified versions that I'm gonna have pop up down here. I like this flag for a few reasons. One, it's pretty. It's pretty. I like that it's pretty. It utilizes the ampersand. It's visibly, different. It's very recognizable. And it also is explicitly an inclusive flag. And maybe I just like cool tones, okay? From top to bottom to the middle, the purple represents mystery, like discovering your system and learning. Blue representing trust between headmates. Green for internal harmony, which could be achieving final fusion or achieving healthy multiplicity or working together, anything like that. And black for diversity. On the non-simplified version, the colors are specifically mirrored to represent that there are many ways to take this journey. I personally really prefer a flag that explicitly values diversity and centers it, especially given the Entropy debacle. So, that's my personal opinion. I'm right, by the way. I'm right. And you're free to be wrong. No, I'm just kidding. I do want to be clear that this is not the System Pride Day I celebrate, or frankly that I think most people at this point celebrate. What I personally prefer and celebrate is Plural Pride Day, which is the third Saturday of July. This also coincides with Plural Awareness/Acceptance Week, which, that's cool. This was chosen to be a floating date so that it wouldn't land on anyone's trauma anniversary every year. It was chosen in July to avoid conflicts with holidays or other major Pride Days or whatever. And it was chosen with community influence to be what works best for everyone, something that the Entropy System really should have considered before introducing a Pride Day for literally everyone with DID and OSDD1, but I digress. So, this is, my personal preference and many people's personal preferences, and that's partly because they took into account people's preferences. This year, the third Saturday of July is the 20th, so that's exciting. Also, a little tidbit. I run a plural meetup group for people in DC, Maryland, and Virginia, And that group meets on the first and third Saturday of every month, in part because our first meetup was on Plural Pride Day, and we wanted to make sure that Plural Pride Day would always coincide with a scheduled meetup, because that would be cool, and we'd like to do things for it, so that's nice. Another benefit of making it a floating date, also. So, yeah, that was the Entropy Debacle, something I find hilarious. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you around. We'll try to put out a video this weekend also, but no promises. I am very tired. See you.